Hello, we're driving on the highway in some thick traffic. This is FSD version 14.2.1.25. I just went up to Mad Max mode and I want to see if we can get any situations where I can show you the changing hesitations that is still present in this version of FSD. All right, so it wants to get over here. I want to give you some camera action. You can definitely see that left mirror there. And I mean, it had a chance, but as soon as you turn that turn signal on, people speed up. They don't want to let you in. Everyone's on their way home from work. It's Friday. They just want to get home. They don't want you to get in front of them. It's just the way people behave. So we get a lot of just turn signals, blinking, lots of just blinking turn signals. But let's see what else we get. It is bizarre. I guess since we're in Mad Max and since the traffic is so dense right now, we're going, what, 8 miles an hour? It's Mad Max, but, you're just sitting here in the right lane stuck. So this is where I really hope they can work this model out. And it may take till 14.3 or maybe never. I don't know. Maybe they don't want it to get aggressive with changing lanes, but I can get into that lane right now if I just go. The general human behavior of other cars is to not hit you, even if you do aggressively drive. So that's what you have to do in these situations if you want to go faster or you want to get over into another lane. You have to have some sort of faith that they're not just going to hit you for no reason. That they have their heads up a little bit. It's almost like it's like when it changes lanes, it's assuming that any car that's pointed at you could potentially just intentionally hit you or go into that space. And that's just not realistic. That's not AI. That's almost, and it does feel a little bit like the V11 highway stack back on 12.3 in the way that it changed. So here we go. There's another one. You can see there's plenty of room. I mean, I'm looking back there. There's oh, well, I turned my head and didn't realize that it was passing that car. Sorry about that. But it almost feels like that, where it would do the same thing. I remember it had all kinds of visualizations on the screen where it would like kind of light up a section and it was doing it via code. Now all of this was because of a stalled car there on the left that we're passing now. So we're going to be speeding up, doing some real Mad Max driving here, hopefully. So I might have been a little bit fooled there that this is going to be some heavy traffic, and now we're just going for it. But we'll keep it on anyway. It might be some interesting stuff. I'm really curious. Here in 3.9 miles, it has to exit. I'm curious how quickly it gets over. It almost missed an exit in standard this morning driving to work. And it's the same old scenario that is the biggest weakness on the highway, where it tried to get over at the last minute into a shared lane where people use to enter and exit the highway. So it got over there at the last minute, and there's a row of cars with their left turn signal trying to get on top of you, and you're trying to get on top of them. And the truth is, you need to yield to those people, because those people are trying to get on the highway. You need, you can't just you can't just wait till the last minute. I really don't understand. And I saw Lincoln posting about this on X, and I commented, yeah, I don't understand Tesla's stubbornness with not training this model to get over soon enough. And I've never seen one complaint. I've seen complaints about people saying Mad Max isn't fast enough. I don't like it when park. I've never seen anyone complain about the car got over a whole mile before the exit and stayed in the right lane before it exit. No one's ever complained about that. And if they have, then, well, that's going to be the very small percentage of people that you're actually protecting them from themselves, because that's not proper behavior to not get over in time. So this is a call for the Tesla team, is that what is it that makes you not train the model that at the 1 mile point to get over into the lane to exit? That is what needs to happen every time. And I can forgive it if at the 1 mile point it starts getting over. There are times where 1 mile, really should be before 1 mile to where it's there in the 1 mile. So let's say 1.2 miles. There's times where 1.2 miles, if you're in the left lane in thick traffic, if you try to get over like these 4 lanes, and again, everything is freed up because there was just a little bit of a stall there. I was thinking that it was going to be a little bit thicker, but holiday Friday, the Friday before Christmas, which is still 6 days away, there's really not a whole lot of traffic today, but 1.2 miles, if you start trying to get over, you will still miss it sometimes, at least here in Dallas, because the traffic is so thick, because the model is not designed to be aggressive. Like it's not, it is scared to change lanes. And if that's rightfully so, if that's what it needs to be safe, you got to get over, maybe even 1.5 miles, start getting over to the lane you need to be in. And it does it sometimes, but it is maybe 50% of the time. Nailed it that time, but again, we have open roads. And I don't really care if the roads are open or it thinks. Sometimes I can tell what it's thinking. It is saying, there's a huge gap up there. I can just wait till the last minute and go up and shoot that gap and get over. And it does it, but then you have the situation where it can't get over, and it winds up cutting the last, you're crossing the double yellow lines that are coming out, and you're like crossing into the path of debris to take the exit at the last second, like an asshole. So anyway, this is, I guess, just going to wind up being a rant video, because everything else on this drive, yeah, look at this. This is just ridiculous. Why isn't it getting over? But I'm just ranting because I feel like this is a problem. I don't know how. I'm not an engineer. I'm pretty good at figuring out hard problems and easy problems in my general life, and I feel like that can be applied here. I don't think this is a hard problem to solve. Avoiding accidents is a hard problem to solve, but I don't think this is a hard problem to solve. If you basically you put the model into chill or sloth 1 mile before the exit, or 1.5 miles before the exit, it will go over, but you do it virtually. Anyway, I'm going to bring this down. I don't want to get a ticket. This thing's going a lot faster than I thought we'd be going. I don't like using Mad Max when the roads are wide open because it goes too fast, but I'm in a hurry. That's fine. You can see that this is as much bad stuff as I'm saying. The cool thing about 14.2 is it doesn't seem to camp in the left lane. In Dallas traffic, in this type of traffic that you're seeing here, the right lane is the fast lane. You go over to the left lane to go, let's say about this speed, and then if you need to pass, you go all the way across traffic to the right lane to pass. That is the general rule and the general way that people drive here. So if Mad Max is looking for open lanes, it's going to find them on this side, oftentimes more. Not consistently, but that's just generally the way it works. But yeah, I guess this is just a rant video. It doesn't seem like a hard problem to solve to tell the model, hey, just get over hey, we're going to exit up here on the right, get over into the right lane, and and have, the reward predictable, whatever, however you train it, to to just be there with a goal of being there by the 1 mile point. And yeah, guess what? You're going to have to go a little bit slower, even in Mad Max, or hurry, or standard, because it does this in standard too. Last second, this morning it was in standard, and it almost missed the exit. There, it needs to have some sort of fear. That's one thing in life that really keeps you safe is to fear. You don't want to cut yourself on the saw. Well, just be scared of that blade. Know that, picture your finger getting cut off with that blade while you're cutting your board, and you'll never cut your finger. The model needs some fear, like, oh shit, I'm going to miss the exit. I need to get over. But it doesn't have any fear. It just kind of wings it. It's really bizarre. I feel like the reason I say I think it's a simple problem is I've seen absolutely no consistent improvement since V11 on this issue. It does not reach for the right lane early enough consistently. Sometimes it does. Sometimes, for some reason, it's like it gets over. And when I say the right lane, I mean the lane ready to exit. Be there by 1 mile to exit. And, that'll also help some of these situations where the right lane is backed up for a mile when the left lane's going 70 miles an hour and trying to cut in at the left. That'll fix some of those problems too. Anyway, I'm definitely no genius. I just use this software on the highway every day and see the same problem, and literally through the V11 highway stack, which was on 12.3, then 12.6, which went end to end on the highway, 12.5 on a hardware 4 vehicle in the end on the highway. All these versions, 13.1, 13.2, 14.1, 14.2, all these versions acted exactly the same way. It does not prioritize getting over consistently when it knows it needs to exit. So we'll end it there. There's not going to be a whole lot going on. So I really appreciate it. Sorry for the rant. It's kind of a frustrating thing to see how great the software is, but there's this big fatal error, and I don't see hardly anyone talking about it. Every once in a while, like Lincoln posted today, every once in a while I'll see somebody that's driven, several thousand miles, and they're just in that situation today, like, hey, it didn't do this right. And I see this every day, and it does this every day, and when I say every day is I'm in those situations every day, and it doesn't consistently exit. I would say 1 out of 2 times it's like exiting at the last minute, which is making things uncomfortable and quite frankly unsafe. And I know the car's very good at avoiding other cars, but you're putting yourself in situations, it needs to be a little more proactive. And it is so proactive on so many other things. Changing lanes, unprotected turns. Yesterday a dog ran out in front of me when I was going 70 miles an hour in the dark on this 2-lane road, and it nailed it. It was really protective. I mean, I probably would have I don't know if I would have hit him, but I would have come close to hitting it because I didn't even see it. Yeah, it does so many, but for some reason, it just throws all that out the window when it comes to taking an exit. There's zero caution. It puts itself in dangerous situations. One more thing before I go. There is the theory, the long-standing theory, that they purposely do this to help train how to handle rough situations. And whenever it's ready, they will pull it back and they will make it do. It's ready. You don't need to keep training it on that. This software is ready to be perfect. And by perfect, I mean drive perfect. I mean, it does it. It's just that one thing. It's very dangerous, very frustrating. Anyway, thank you for watching. Sorry for the rant. Hopefully there's some people out there that experience this every day. It's like I'm crazy, when I hear people say that FSD works perfect on the highway, but and no, it will not. There's no way they're going to do unmanned robotaxis on the highway anytime soon unless they fix that problem. And I honestly find that's my biggest disengagement. Probably non-critical, but is missing exits and trying to get on top of people, that are trying to get on top of me. And anyway, thank you again for watching. We'll talk to you later.